And, sometimes a naval battle is just as important as a land battle. You want the Greyjoys, but the Greyjoys they're not compliant with anyone. They're constantly rebels. They only follow their own. That's basically it. And so when Theon goes home, he's torn. He's torn. Like, I grew up in Winterfell, and Robb is my friend, and these people raised me and treated me well, but I'm Ironborn, and he feels like he has to prove something to his Ironborn people. So he tries to capture Winterfell.
Right.
And he actually does capture Winterfell.
Right.
And says, but the problem, like Dino said, these people don't know how to keep castles or land. It's not their strength. Their strength is hit and run. Hit and run.
Yep. Hit it and quit it.
Trying to keep the castle doesn't work. Yep. He tries to keep Winterfell and allegedly kills Bran and Rickon and calls himself the Prince of Winterfell, some stupid shit. And the Ironborn people end up betraying him and hitting him in the back of the head. They're like, man, shut up. But he does successfully kill some people in Winterfell that raised them. I think he kills the Maester and somebody else. But Theon's basically a screw up. He doesn't know who he is. He is Ironborn, but he's really more of a Stark, and he's fighting who he is. Bran, Hodor, Rickon, and Osha sneak away, and they head north with those two other people, Mira and Jojen Reed.
Yes.
So they didn't really get killed. Theon is telling people he killed them, but Bran can't walk. Hodor is just dragging him. And Jojen Reed is having visions that we need to go see the Three-Eyed Raven somewhere up north. And so they head north towards the wall.
Off to see the wizard.
They escape. Yeah, off to see the wizard, the wonderful wizard of trees. After Khal Drogo dies and the dragons are hatched, Daenerys is basically in exile because most of the Blood Riders aren't going to follow a woman, and she's just walking in the desert. And she doesn't have any water. She's looking dry. She needs shea butter, and it looks
she all ashy.
It looks bad for Daenerys and the 4 or 5 people that are still with her.
They're hungry. They eating their horses.
They eating horse jerky. That's everything is messed up. But they finally come to the greatest city on earth, Quarth. This big, huge gates, and they just say, "Hey, can we get some water? Can we come in?" And they don't want to let him in. Remember?
Yep. I'm like, fuck that.
Quarth
you can't
is a really
come in.
Pretty city, but of course, a brother, Captain Save-A-Ho. He's like, I'll vouch for it.
Yep.
And I forget his Zaxxon, whatever.
Yeah, that's.
His name is Zaxo something. He lets him in. He vouches for him and lets him in the Quarth. And Quarth is beautiful. They got apples, pears. They got music. They got festivals. They got vampires. They got all kinds of stuff. It's like in the middle of the desert, but it's beautiful inside. I always wondered, like, where do they get all their stuff?
Yeah.
They got silk. They got all kinds. They got, beds. They got air mattresses. They got everything you could want.
Magicians.
Yeah, magicians. They got it all. They got the circus. And the brother wants to marry Daenerys. He's like, I'll marry you. And then he's spitting that game, He wants that thing. He's spitting that game,
Yep.
I'll marry you, and then I'll use my big money to buy you an army to take back your crown. And Daenerys, she believes the hype. She believes it, but it's all game. And one morning, while she's in Quarth, she wakes up and all her dragons are gone, all 3 of them. Where the hell did my dragons go? Well, the Warlocks stole the dragon. The Warlocks want the dragon, and Zaxos is full of shit. He don't have any money anyway. And Daenerys is captured in a basement, and she doesn't get captured. She goes looking for her dragon at the Warlocks' house.
Yes.
What was their house called?
I can't remember.
They had a weird name.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
The House of Many.
She goes looking for dog.
Yeah.
What?
I can't remember.
Say that again?
I can't remember. Is the House of Many mirrors or many faces or many like something like that.
Yeah, something crazy like that. But she goes in there and there's mirrors and stuff like that, and she can't tell what the hell is going on, and she ends up seeing vision, and then she ends up tied up next to her dragons. But up until this point, the dragons haven't done much but cry. We haven't seen the dragons do anything. They kind of sit on Daenerys' shoulders and cry and scream. But up until Daenerys is trapped with those chains, because they said, the Warlocks, we're going to keep you here forever. And she's like, no, you're not. And she says a word that we've never heard before. Remember what that word is, Dino?
House of the Undying.
House of the Undying. Google is your
Okay, now what was what was the other question that you asked me?
What was the word that she says that we had never heard up until now? Went to her dragons.
Dracarys.
Dracarys, which means fire. And the little baby dragons look and say, "Oh, okay, bitch." And they go, and they, all three of them, shoot fire for the first time. And they burn the warlocks and the House of Undying down.
Well, actually, they did. She did. We did see that one prior to that. We saw her with one of her handmaidens practicing with her baby dragons. She was giving them food, and she was saying Dracarys, and they were breathing fire and burning up the food.
Yeah, but it wasn't strong. They were like doing puffs, like,
yeah, it was like little smoke signals. Yeah.
So we realized, this is a game changer. These dragons, this is like nuclear weapons she has, and they're not even grown yet. They're babies. So if they can do this at babies, we know that in the future they're gonna be a problem. She's got to be dealt with. Meanwhile, up in the north, Lord Mormont and the rest of the Night's Watch decide to go ranging because Jon's uncle Benjen has disappeared. So they decide to go north of the wall to see what's going on with the wildlings. They don't really believe the White Walker talk yet. So they go north to see what's going on with the wildlings. But before they can find Benjen, they end up at a house of a man who is pimping hard. His name is Craster.
Mm-hmm.
And Craster is making White Walker babies because he's got daughters, and he's banging all of his daughters every single night.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when his daughters have a baby, if it's a girl, they stay. That's his future bitches. But if it's a boy, they go out in the forest and the White Walkers.
Yep.
This is weird. We're like, what type of deal is this? And I think that's the reason he's so safe and up there beyond the wall.
That is the reason.
He doesn't worry about being attacked.
That is the reason.
Because he knows,
That's definitely the reason.
He's an asshole. He doesn't like Jon. He says he's too pretty. I think he wanted to smash Jon. He's like, he's pretty as my daughters. He was looking at Jon like, I might want to get some of this Renly on with you. Like, he was acting a little weird.
Yeah, he's jealous of anybody he thought that his daughters might be interested in. And Jon was too pretty. He made him nervous.
Yeah, he was worried, man. You're going to take one of my daughter hoes. He's like, I can't have this. But Craster, we don't care about. We see him give his babies. Jon sees it. We all see it. And the rest of the Night's Watch, they end up trying to go to the Fist of the First Men, which is a strategic point in the north. They're trying to go to the Fist, and we meet another ranger, Corran Halfhand, who used to be with Benjen, but he doesn't know what happened to Benjen. And they hatch up a plan to make Jon seem like he can join the Wildlings and find out what's going on with Mance Rayder. We hear the name Mance Rayder. Mance Rayder is allegedly the leader of all the Wildlings, and the Night Watch wants to infiltrate with Mance Rayder to find out what the Wildlings have planned.
Yes.
So Jon gets kidnapped along with Corran Halfhand, and they devise a plan. Corran's like, you got to kill me, so they think you joined them. And Jon kills Corran, and the Wildlings take him to Mance because they think, hey, this guy says he doesn't want to be in the Night's Watch. He wants to join us. While all this is happening, the other Night Watch men go to the Fist of the First Men, and they're attacked by the army of the undead. A bunch of zombies and White Walkers attack them, and they lose a lot of people, but most of them run. But Sam, who's Jon's little friend, is too fat to run, and he just kind of falls on the ground and stands there, and we get our first up-close view of a White Walker on a dead horse.
Yeah.
Who holds a spear and says, onward. So now we know that the White Walkers are marching and coming further south. And that is the end of season 2. But what I absolutely forgot about season 2 is the Battle of the Blackwater.
Oh. Yeah, that's kind of
How
important.
Did I forget that?
And I'll let you.
So that is not the end of season. That is not the end of season 2. I'm sorry. Meanwhile, in King's Landing, Stannis, who's already killed his brother, is trying to get his rightful throne, and he is headed into King's Landing to get it.
Right.
Cersei is scared, drinking wine in the basement, telling Sansa that they're all going to get raped.
Yeah, all the women are hiding out in the basement.
They're hiding in the basement. But Tyrion, who's the Hand of the King, has been devising a plan this whole time to use wildfire in the Blackwater Bay. Now, explain to them what wildfire is.
Wildfire is basically medieval napalm.
Yes, it's fire. And it's liquid, but it explodes, and it's like
it burns on water.
It burns anywhere. It's basically referenced as Greek fire, which is something that used to be pretty potent that they don't use anymore back in the medieval times. Greek fire. So Tyrion fills the Blackwater Bay, which is the bay that leads up to King's Landing, full of wildfire. And when Stannis and his ships come to take King's Landing, Bronn lights the fire and it destroys most of their fleet and most of their ships. And Stannis is not able to take King's Landing. He has to retreat, and he is very upset about that. He did not, and Tyrion is the hero of the city, but nobody knows it. And Tyrion gets betrayed, and Sir Meryn Trant tries to kill him.
By Joffrey's orders.
But Podrick protects him, and he just gets a really ugly gash across his face. But Stannis runs away, and that is the end of season 2. We forgot about the Battle of the Blackwater. It's like the biggest moment of season 2.
Yes, indeed.
And that's kind of when we saw that, this show has some budget, because that explosion, that whole episode of the Battle of Blackwater Bay was movie quality.
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
They're making some money on this show.
Epic.
And what did you take away from season 2?
Well, like you already said, we saw it was epic. There was big budgets, big battles. The writing was still the story and the writing and everything was still like unparalleled. So we just saw more greatness, and just falling deeper and deeper in love with the show, really.
Yeah, and we met some new families. We met the Tyrells from the Reach. We met the Greyjoys. We met the Freys.
Right.
We because this world is really big, so we keep meeting more and more family. So I just remember that from season 2. I remember, we learned about a new religion. There seems to be 1 million religions in Westeros. There's the old gods where you can talk to the trees, and the seven.
The Red Wedding is in what chapter in season 3?
That's season 3.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't miss another big one.
No. I just didn't scroll down on my notes. Right. That's what happened. That's how I missed Blackwater.
Did John get married in season 3 or 2?
John, no.
I mean, not John. I mean, Rob. Rob. Did Rob get married in season 2 or 3?
Rob gets married in season 3.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, we got everything covered.
So we can do season 3 and season 4 tomorrow.
Okay, everybody. So that's it for now. But look for another episode in a day or 2.
Yes, we are recapping Game of Thrones to get you ready for the final 6 episodes, the conclusion of what is going to happen.
That's right.
Based on these events.
So we'll probably be coming out with an episode every day or every other day until we cover all 7 seasons, and then our first episode of the season 8 will probably drop. Did we say we're going to do it on Monday nights or Tuesdays?
Yes.
Okay,
so
Monday nights.
Get ready.
So Monday nights.
Pay attention to the Red Rock Podcast Network.
All right. So until next time, this is King Dino Red in the west.
And Lord Latone.
Down in the south.
That's right. Riding this lizard lion all the way to the end.
We'll see you next time.
Enough, Savardis. Finish him. You're listening to the Red Rock Podcast Network.